Crank it up and tick off the neighbors. It's the R&B Show. God, you dig it! And now, those two guys that are bringing back the art of scat. Here's Ricardo and Brett.
I wish I could do scat, by the way. It's a very cool kind of way to present. Look at here, Brett's over here. Brett's all tired out. He's beat. Brett, why are you down, my friend?
I'm not down. I'm exhausted. I'm mentally drained. The Wisconsin High School Sports Awards show planning is, we've reached that stage now because we're only 2.5 weeks away, where it's just dialed up and it's nonstop. And I worked late last night at home going over the script, and I'm done.
Yes.
Ricardo, I'm done.
He's going over the script that he and I will both go through as we do that about 2-hour show. Coming on May 11th. We'll have more on that, though. But
you look nice and fresh, though.
I do. I feel great. I feel fantastic.
Ricardo looks great.
Yeah, why is that, Rosie?
I don't know.
Because Brett's the one who's doing it, and I'm not.
And you look like your soul is shattered, man.
It is shattered. I'm done. I'm defeated. I'm waving the white flag.
Well, they had to put you on a Brett because you're our best guy. So think of it that way, my friend. That we knew you could do it.
I'm like, I'll go like Nolan Ryan. I'm going to go old school. And,
it is old
and
school.
my arm is tiring. I need the reliever in now. I need my closer in. I need to exit the game. Let's bring in the right-hander.
Oh, you
Finish
need that
it
one
up.
guy. Who was that crazy guy who'd always get all pumped up right before he was going
Al
the Mad
Rabuski?
Hungarian.
Yeah.
Mad Hungarian.
Yeah, isn't it Al Rabuski or Al Rabuski?
Rabuski.
Again, all the kids listening right now have no idea who the heck we're talking
Google
about.
it. Google him.
When
And I think his name is
Mad
it starts HR.
Yes.
Mad Hungarian.
Played for the Cardinals.
Yes, he did.
And the Royals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, that's when baseball was good.
I had his
right?
baseball card for the Royals.
That's when you knew players on every team because they never moved.
Yes.
Unlike nowadays, you can't keep track. By the way, we were talking off before we started. Brewers, right? We were talking about how they've got to bring back the beer mug, talking about the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
bring back the beer mug.
Huge beer mug.
And implement the barrel man as part of the uniform. Put it on the sleeve patch. And bring back, of course, Rosie, the ball and glove logo. I mean,
yes.
I mean, what is up with the M and the little leaf on the bottom?
Remember when those
Stop
They had the awful variations of the Brewer uniform, like was it the early 2000s?
Oh, the M and B.
Or something.
With the baseball bats that were crossed. They had green in their uniform.
Oh, so awful.
Why?
Why did they get rid of the ball and glove?
I don't know. It was so classic, and that's all you see in the stands. And they even have an ad where the whole thing is ball and glove, people in ball and glove stuff, and then they end it with M and barley. No, get it out of here.
And the beer mug. I mean, that was a highlight when I was a kid going to County Stadium, seeing Bernie Brewer slide in the beer mug after a home run or a Brewers win. They're the Brewers. They play in Miller Park. And bring it back.
Luckily, it was not destroyed, right? Somebody did buy it.
I think it's Lakefront Brewery actually has it in-house in downtown Milwaukee area. I've never seen it. I've never been there, but I've read about it that they purchased that from the Brewers.
I'll give you a little. You'll find this funny. A cousin of mine who was actually converted to be a Brewers fan. After a while here, just from being in the state, he had no idea that the M and the B, made up the that blew his mind when I told him, dude, it's Milwaukee and B. He was like, he looked at it for a long time, like, oh, I didn't even know that. I'm like,
which makes the logo even.
Yeah.
Ricardo, you're a Cardinals fan.
Yes.
Now, isn't it true that in St. Louis, Cardinals baseball is almost like Packers football here?
Yeah, because it's really all they have there, just like Green Bay. All they have is the Packers. All they have is Cardinals. We're ridiculous. We're ridiculous fans. We think Busch Stadium is the mecca for all baseball stadiums. No matter, forget about Fenway, forget about Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
It's Busch Stadium, and St. Louis is the heart of baseball in this country. We're obnoxious, just like Packer fans.
There you
go.
So
we are the Packer fans of Major League Baseball. Is what Cardinals fans are.
But St. Louis, they have the Blues. A hockey team.
They
NHL,
do, but it's NHL. Come on, NHL is what the fourth.
I think.
You can even put them in some ways under NASCAR, can't you?
Ooh, I don't know.
See, so maybe they're even fifth.
I don't know about that.
And they lose they get an NFL team and then they lose it every 10 years.
Yeah,
so,
they
don't have they can't sustain a football team.
They're probably done. They're probably done in playing with the NFL. I would think the NFL now.
So,
and a lot of Cardinals fans
Cardinals
because for the longest time KMOX in St. Louis was the only radio station that could be heard the western part of the nation when they didn't have before the Dodgers moved out there and the Giants. So a lot of folks are Cardinals fans just from picking up KMOX and that huge. I don't know how many watts that was, but it stretched all throughout the desert and stuff like that. And a lot of folks became Cardinals fans out in the West Coast. So.
Dang.
I hate the Cardinals. You know
I know
why?
you do.
1982. That's all I got to say.
Willie McGee.
1980. Joaquin Andujar. Tommy Herr.
Yes.
Was Keith Hernandez on that team? Was he the first baseman?
Yeah.
Daryl Porter.
Was Ozzie Smith on it?
Ozzie Smith.
Yeah.
Hate him. Whitey Herzog.
Hey,
Daryl. I have a personal.
Daryl Porter, was he on that team too?
Yes.
Daryl Porter, the catcher.
He used to be a Brewer. Oh, that's okay. All right.
Me and Whitey, we didn't hit it off at the Smith banquet, but I hate the Cardinals because the Brewers were the better team that year.
I probably would agree with you on that. Harvey's Wallbangers. I would agree with you on that. And Whitey gave you a colorful metaphor.
He threw a bunch of colorful metaphors at me after getting the nice guy. Before he was received
nice
the
guy
nice
award.
Guy
Yes,
he was not a nice guy. So more reason to hate the Cardinals. Plus. Who knew that, Rosie, that would be the last time we'd see the Brewers in the World Series? 36 years ago now.
Wow. What a lineup. Well, and luckily, that was our whole topic of conversation during our ride home from Pewaukee last Friday. So
we got another Kids in Crisis one coming up next Wednesday in Milwaukee. I'm going to be in Milwaukee, actually, for my son's going to be touring some colleges down there. UW Milwaukee, your
smart
school,
boy.
And Marquette.
All right. Well, best of luck there, guys. Can we get to the show?
Yeah,
I know we kind of went off a tangent a little bit.
Let's
get
to the show. That's what podcasts are for.
Yes. Well, a couple of things we're going to be going through. Again, the only podcast dedicated to high school sports in the Fox Valley, as well as Brewer Talk. Apparently.
Yeah.
I'm your co-host, Ricardo Arguello. Sitting alongside with me always is Brett Christopherson, both of USA Today Network Wisconsin. Don't forget about Jim Rosendick. We call him Rosie. He's the master of disaster. He's doing all that stuff behind the live stream machine over there, making sure that we're taken care of in terms of the production end. Some of the topics we're going to talk about briefly, the WIA meeting that's holding this annual meeting over there. I think it must be wrapped up, though, by now, or will be soon.
A lot of folks attended that.
And so they're having that. That's in Stevens Point, isn't it?
Yes.
So they're having that. We'll talk about some of the, not really too much to come out of it, but one is always realignment every year. Me and Brett will give our thoughts on that. FAA All-Star Game drama. There's no girls' game, but apparently some of the guys are, and along with Sid Levy over at Appleton North, are trying to get that girls' game going on. So we'll talk a little bit about that, why you wouldn't have an All-Star girls' game to begin with. There's a reason behind that. And then, Brett, I know you're tired, my friend, but you're going to have to give us a second win here and talk about that award show that's coming up on May 11th, because a lot of that stuff is being finalized. And I know you just had, on this past Friday, you had the column that introduced the spring sports and maybe some of the premier
A couple
awards.
weeks ago now coming up. The spring. Actually, we had a meeting yesterday, and Rosie and I have a meeting tomorrow.
We do.
Here in Appleton.
Yes.
So very top secret
That's
stuff
right.
going on.
Good
right
stuff.
now.
So you'll let us know what we can, and then we'll wrap it up again. A short preview on our Appleton North Girls Softball, which is coming in for the roundtable tonight. Marissa Mullen, Sarah Allison, and Hannah Holtonen. Hannah really will be running Hannah Camp, but more on that later on in the show.
And a guest appearance from Mike Sherry tonight.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was working on this.
I cannot be here tonight because my son is getting confirmed.
Yes,
and I need and want to attend that.
Very pious. Very cool. No, good stuff. And maybe we'll talk a little about the UW Stevens Point football vacancy. We can speculate on things on that. So, Brett, make sure I don't forget that, because that could lead to some funny
anytime we're
things.
talking Stevens Point, I'm all over that.
Yes, I know you are. So, first topic, the WIA's annual meeting with its member schools. Always a big topic is realignment, and I guess they did do, from the southwestern part of the state, they did go through some proposals, or actually ratified some things there, so where they can have some realignment there over the next couple years. Brett, why don't they just go to the district play already
explain the
for
district,
everything? District play, well, at first it was just for football, if I remember right. A couple years ago, the WI put out an outstanding plan, in my opinion, where the district would be kind of split up by geography and enrollment. It'd be looked at every couple of years, so there'd be some fluidity to it.
Football only, right?
Football only. This was only football only. But now I'm thinking, why not just make it all sports? Because we're having all these conference changes, these goofy conferences, these goofy teams want to leave after a couple years, and it's just a big old mess. And I think the WIA could just alleviate a lot of this by just going to the district play. But here's the problem. I know some of these schools are holding on to those conferences, Brett, like the FVA. I understand that, and I'm a big proponent of the FVA. I love it, but I think we got to move on here and look at it from which is the best way to represent these playoff teams, these matchups in the postseason. I think this is a good way to do it, Brett, by having district play and having that kind of ability to change things every couple of years, kind of look at it over again, and it's an evolving thing. It works in Michigan, it works in Texas, it works in Florida, it works in California, works in a lot of great states that have a lot of great sports. Why can't it be here in Wisconsin?
Like you said it, because of the deep roots that teams and schools and fans have in conference play and the rivalries. I mean, you look at the district proposal, and I'm going back. How long ago was that now? That was a number of years ago.
It was like 2011, I want to say, around that time.
Around that time,
turn of the decade.
You know, and I always go back to the one because it involves, the school that my kids have attended, Little Chute High School, and I always chuckle because remember, part of that district plan was Northland Pines and Eagle River. That's a 3-hour drive to be. I just thought that the travel component. Freedom was in it too. That's crazy. You got to do better than that. I mean, I thought that some of the district matchups there back then were laughable, quite frankly. I mean, you're not going to have kids wanting to. You're not, as a parent, going to willingly let your kid drive up Highway 45 on a Friday night to go watch Little Chute or Freedom play up in Northland Pines and Eagle River. That's crazy. So, and my second concern, I guess, with district proposal is what we see with conference, the realignment issues is. Are you telling me that in a couple years, if a team that is maybe, I guess, enrollment-wise, the smallest within that district, and they're struggling, they're going to be complaining, saying we need to get out of this district? It's going to be the same thing, whether you call it conferences or districts. I just think you just got to suck it up and deal with it. I mean, why now? I mean, there's never been an issue years and years. Rosie, I think you can attest to this. I never heard any conference bickering or we can't compete in this league. When I grew up in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, Anago was really tough, really good football program, and they were one of the smaller schools. So now suddenly it's I think in some ways it's a little bit of a cop-out. Oh, we can't compete, so we need to move to another league.
Brett, I agree with you. I agree with you on all. Actually, I do. I feel very strongly the way you do there because in my own experience, in the old East Central Conference, Amur was the smallest school. We would go against schools like Wapaka that was 3 times bigger than us.
And win.
And win. No, we wouldn't beat Wapaka. They were the only team we could beat. But we beat like Berlin one year, I remember. Teams that was 2.5 maybe times bigger than we were. But I do know this is that back then, this was for football now, only the champion would advance to the playoffs, and then maybe the second place team on occasion. So we were always, finishing with like a couple of losses and just missing. While we were like a couple divisions lower than maybe Wapaka and everything, and that always irked us because, man, we'd love to see we'd love to go against like the Brilliants and stuff like that, but we never got a chance to because we played in a small conference. But we never asked to leave the conference.
No, and now you see that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get out. We got to get out.
Yeah.
Well, why? I mean, how about reward some of these schools that actually have top-notch programs? I mean, there's probably a reason why that is the case. Look at Kimberly.
They're the smallest school in D1, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not complaining. We got to go down to D2 so we can almost assure ourselves of really deep playoff runs. No, you play the cards you're dealt, and you adapt to your situation. Now, I mean, obviously, there's some cases where you don't want to put a Brilliant in a conference like the FBA. Obviously, you can't have that sort of a discrepancy. But I just think that this is a little bit comical, and it seems to be gaining more and more steam as the years go by.
That's the problem, Brett. This isn't going to go away because you know why? It's our parents. It's us. We're Generation X here.
Well, and you know what? It's because they want instant results.
Yes,
too.
exactly.
Instant wins. They don't want to take the time to build something anymore.
Which goes back to my theory that we have destroyed youth sports. My generation has it. We have to look at ourselves in the mirror, take a good look. We've done this because, you're right, Brett. We can't take not making the playoffs. We can't take having to go against teams that are bigger than we are. We got to complain. That's just and then we instill that, unfortunately, to our kids who feel entitled, right? Who think that they deserve everything or they need everything. And I don't want to blame them because it's our fault.
Well, there is a lot of entitlement out there in a lot of different areas. I think we all know that. But I think you brought up a great example with Brilliant. Remember a few years ago when they won the D3 boys basketball championship? Yes. Probably one of the smaller teams there in D3. I think now they're in D4.
They are in D4.
You think Pete Kittle was complaining about that? Well, this is crazy. Why they beat Little Chute with Kenny Lowe and Turner Botts in a sectional championship, then went down to state and won the whole darn thing.
Yep. Yeah, you bring up great points here.
But you still like the district.
I still like the district play because I don't think this is a complaint that's going to go away, and I just think this is the most in terms of equitable solution, I guess. I hate saying that because there's still going to be people who are going to be complaining.
I was going to say, people are still complaining.
Oh, yeah, they will complain, but I think this is better than the current format of switching conferences here and there. Just do it completely, everyone, and then every couple of years we'll look at it, we'll change it around, and it won't be just for football, it'll be for other ones. Now, I understand. Saying Fox Valley Association champion is much better than saying District 5 champ. I agree with you. It flows off the tongue a lot better.
Sounds more political.
Yeah, it does. It sounds cooler,
District 5
but in my opinion, if those sports mad states like Texas and Florida can get away with it, we're just fine. We don't have to be that different in that way. And then now they still have problems too down there in terms of the district and everything like that, but they seem to have liked it and seem to have stuck with it, Brett. I just think that's, in my opinion, in terms of evolving because of what you've been giving the scenarios, that's the best way to go about it.
We'll see what happens, and maybe that is the direction we end up going. But who knows? I just, and then I think too. What are we? 2018. I think within the next couple of years, I'm sure there's going to be a pretty large-scale realignment in the Northeast Wisconsin region. Again, I've been hearing rumblings about teams wanting out of leagues and such and such. It's probably maybe a reason why Deb Hauser said, "I'm getting out of the WIA. I'm retiring. I've had enough." She did take a lot of arrows for. She was kind of the head of realignment and had to listen to a lot of negative comments and a lot of negative feedback. That's a thankless job. So I don't know. I just think let's keep it as equitable as you can, and if you're struggling, figure out why are we struggling. It's not always because we're the small team in the conference, right? I mean,
right.
There are other factors at play,
and that leads into a whole bigger when you look at the district play in terms of the private versus rural, private versus rural and public and all that kind of stuff. But that's an argument for another day.
Let's
Brett.
move on.
I want to move on to our next topic, which is an interesting topic because I did not know this in terms of the All-Star games that the teams have for basketball for the Fox Valley Association, that they weren't going to have a girls' game. The boys' game was getting promoted already, and then one of our friends of the show here, Sydney Levy, she wasn't too happy about that.
Rightfully so.
And rightfully so, that there was going to be a boys' game but not a girls' game. And to her, rallying to her defense was Tyrese Halliburton and Jordan McKay both saying, hey, look, we're not going to play in the boys' game if the girls aren't having their own game. I thought that was very, very cool of both of them to do that, to step up to the plate. And not just for gender equity, but, Sydney's a friend of theirs, and it's one of those things like, hey, they want to have their own kind of highlighted game, and why can't they have it? So all this is all in the mix because the boys' game is this Sunday, and now I'm not sure if they're going to try. If I think Jordan's maybe kind of orchestrating everything and trying to get that going on, and they've reached out to me to pick the girls' team. So I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be placed with the boys' game.
Why don't they just put it all in one night?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Right?
Then why not just have it before the boys' game?
Yeah.
Maybe have it at 4 o'clock and the boys' game be at 6. You can still have a 3-point shot, competition for the girls' game because there's going to be a dunk and a 3-point for the boys. So I think that makes a whole lot of sense. Allow these players on these teams. I mean, you're talking about, the 2 North girls, Brecky and Levy, are going to be on that team. The Frederick from Hortonville. So there's a lot of great players in the FVA. So I thought this was an example, I thought, Brett, of social media being able to rally itself, or the participants anyway, being able to rally each other and get something going here. I think it's very cool, and maybe something you don't see 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's very, 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 very cool thing, and I like the boys sticking up for the girls in this one.
I do too. Kind of credit Sydney. She was the one that kind of orchestrated our varsity roundtable celebration.
She did
a few weeks back.
Very
with
aware.
Tyrese and Jordan and Quincy Anderson and Sydney were part of that all FVA show. We had the 3 gold balls behind me on the lockers.
She ought to be a senator.
Yeah, right. Maybe she can clean things up on the political side of things.
Yeah, woman of the people.
But good on her for speaking up, saying, "Hey, what the heck? I mean, we want to showcase our talents too and our abilities in front of a crowd and really cap off what's been a tremendous season in the Fox Valley Association again with one final look at all these great players and athletes and." They got to right this wrong. I mean, good on Jordan and good on Tyrese for sticking up and saying, "Hey, we're going to put a little pressure on the situation. We know a lot of people are paying some money
to see us
play one more time, and we're not going to do it unless you make this right." So hopefully this gets remedied and we see both girls and boys represented in the FVA All-Star game.
Well, here's a tweet. It was from Jordan a couple of days ago, basically saying, sending out to Tyrese Halliburton saying, hey, don't know about you, but I won't be playing in ours if they don't have theirs. And then Tyrese right away, I'm with you on this one, Jay. FVA can't stand for this. What do we got to do to make this happen? So
good for them.
They went about it, and they kind of started this a little mini grassroots effort to kind of get the girls team going, and hopefully it's going to happen because I think I've picked the girls now, and I've gotten some confirmation from some of the coaches that they can make it. Maybe an injured player or two who maybe thought wasn't going to make it, but now they can. So that's going to be an evolving thing, and once we get everything settled, I'm sure there'll be something in the Post Crescent Sports section about that, BC.
As you pick the teams, are there some stipulations? I think they have to be all conference
They have to be all conference recognized. First of all, they have to be seniors, and they have to be all conference, but that's where we don't have enough girls, so then I got to look at stats and kind of pick the girls that, stats-wise, that are seniors that should be added on. There's only a couple spots, really, if all the girls attend, so that's going to be, again, an evolving thing. So I know that's how they pick the boys' team, so I kind of follow the same format in picking the girls' team. So check for that, because I think the boys' game is this Sunday.
Yes.
So
there's folks at Kakana starting to sweat,
thinking,
Jordan.
We need this to happen. But
Tyrese,
no, good on Jordan. Yeah, good on Jordan and Ty to get this to back up their girls, Sydney. So good stuff. So again, be checking for that, the FEA All-Star game for both the boys and girls later this week, and hopefully that'll get all
we should stream
finalized.
We should.
You guys are both on that, so have fun with
that.
You're not going to be there?
I won't be there. So awards show, Brad. Let's give us an update. You're tired. You've been working your butt off for all these months, putting this all together, having to deal with making sure the students get their RSVPs in. You're dealing with the advertising part of it, and you're a haggard man now. You've been through.
I've aged.
Yes.
I've aged.
Yeah.
I'm like in the Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, where I drank out of the wrong chalice, and I'm aging that fast.
No. That's the Last Crusade.
Last Crusade. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I always get them mixed up. The Last Crusade. I chose poorly.
Poorly, yes.
I just watched that the other night, too. But, Tyrese is going to be there. Jordan's going to be there. Sydney's going to be there. And a whole bunch of some of the state's best athletes, coaches, and teams. May 11th, Wisconsin High School Sports Awards show at the Lambeau Field Atrium. Aaron Rodgers is going to be there as our featured guest, and tickets are let's just say they're a hot item right now, and leave it at that. And hopefully we can get some more.
Yeah, that would
because
be nice.
we're probably going to need a little bit more, but
we need more chairs.
That's a good problem to have. That's a good problem to have because very popular event, obviously, when you have number 12. But man, it's really just grown. I mean, from year 1 to year 2, now to year 3, and now it's crunch time because May 11th is 2.5 weeks away. 2 weeks coming up from Friday, and it's when the rubber hits the road, as they say, right?
Yeah.
And it's time to finish it up. And so we're getting there. I looked over the script along with Kelly Weber, who's been a big help. Obviously, she's probably the muscle behind it all. She does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and the script, it's just kind of funny with the deadlines. So they're a little bit sooner than I'm used to, and the turnaround's a little bit faster. And Rosie, you know this too, as we factor in all the non-sports live streams, particularly the Kids in Crisis, where we've been traveling throughout the state. Kind of makes it a challenge to try to squeeze everything in.
Yeah.
But we're getting there, and the script looks good. Really excited. I think the content of the show is going to be fantastic. We're adding some new segments. We're actually going to recognize Special Olympics athletes. We're going to have folks in real-time voting on the Performance Play of the Year. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and just some fun segments. I think we have a fun Q&A in line or lined up with Aaron Rodgers, so that's going to be funny. And Aaron's going to be really great interacting with these kids. He's super in those situations. And I know he's really into it and really excited to be there as well. So.
Well, I'm excited.
Well, of course you are, because you get to dress up because it's your night.
Yes,
it's always your night.
No, not just that. I was hoping to maybe maybe I could converse with Mr. Rogers maybe a little bit.
Let me tell let me tell everybody out there who's either watching or be listening a little story about last year. It's a work function, or it's business before pleasure. Now, Ricardo brought a date. I was there, pedal to the metal, focused. We got to work. We're doing the red carpet segment, and I'm like, we need Ricardo down here first because he and I are being interviewed, and secondly because I need some help corralling some athletes. Where's Ricardo? He's up at the VIP area schmoozing away.
That's right.
And we're getting close to showtime, like, where's Ricardo? Get a little angry, probably some bad thoughts going on in my head at that point.
chatting it up with Clay Matthews, no doubt. So.
I wasn't chatting up. I was, I
So he's out there in his tux, looking all dapper and everything and moving around. But
I had a significant other there.
Well, this year you're working.
Well, yes. I'll try to balance it better. I'll try to get down there on time.
Balance it means work, and then after the show you can.
I'll balance it, the Ricardo balance, when it comes to that stuff. Hey, I like to have fun. I'm an outgoing guy, and this is a great time for us to do it, and. We're going to have a red carpet. You and I will both talk on the red carpet. We'll get it all done.
If you're there, if we can find you.
If I'm there.
Yep. And if you can't make it, you can always watch the live stream.
Yeah,
we'll
streaming it live.
Yes, I don't have the link set yet, but I will build that, and you'll find it on all 10 of our sites, including postcrescent.com, and streamed on Facebook here at postcrescent.com/Facebook.
I would love to be on the red carpet interviewing these people. I can't.
But our colleague Shelby
exactly. So Shelby will
up
do
in
it.
Green Bay at the Press Gazette will be handling the red carpet duties. But hopefully we can have some real-time social media stuff going on with our HSSWI hashtag, real-time tweets, and it's big. It's our biggest show yet, and a lot of great sponsorship involved. So. I don't want to single anybody out, but again, I'll give you that website if you want to see who our nominees are. It's sportsawards.wisconsinmedia.com. Go ahead and check it out, see who's been recognized. We got the RSVPs coming back, too, are incredible. Almost every athlete. Still got to get some spring ones lined up because we just released those, but almost every athlete has
smartly
accepted. And then, of course, they'll be bringing family members, coaches, so it's going to be a big night, and looking forward to it.
Well, and kudos to you guys, because you guys run a good show, and I mean, you call great games during the season, and you get to, during Clubhouse Live, you guys are great hosts, and you get to host this too. So you just get to be all snazzy
and Brett gets to work on our presentation a little bit, right, with the flow and everything for each award. So if you don't like it, Brett did it.
Yeah, so if the jokes fall flat, it's blame Brett.
Well, we got a real nice tap dance routine lined up. It's going to be it's going to be more of a musical component.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
They're bringing in someone to show them how to tap.
And then once we start singing, you're going to see that cane just kind of yank us off the stage.
Yeah, or like the Apollo Theater, they have the clown come out there and brush you off.
Or what they should do is a gong show. Just have somebody back there.
Oh, that'd be great. Yes.
Get us off the stage.
Boy, that just shows how old we are there, talking about the Apollo and the gong show.
Yeah, the gong show.
Chuck Barris.
Once again, YouTube it.
Yeah. By the way, Brett, I don't know why this just popped into my head, but it looks like I covered the Kimberly Appleton North Girls soccer game over there at J.R. Garrett's or Papermaker Stadium, and I realized that I must have accidentally lifted one of their pencils because I'm looking at this pencil. It's the JRG Journey, and Brett, I unintentionally kind of stole this. Learning, leadership, and laughter.
There you go.
I am not actually displaying those traits right now, as I actually stole your pencil. I am sorry, JRG, for that. But hey, Brett, I want to wrap up real quick.
Well, don't forget about Steve Jones.
Yes, and Coach. Well, Brett kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit because we're speculating on this. UW Stevens Point, their head coach recently resigned? Correctly?
Yeah, I guess stepped down. I think he's going somewhere.
To Carleton College or something like that. And we're all speculating here, as well as other folks around the state, that maybe this is a natural position for Kimberly head coach, owner of 70 straight wins, the Kimberly program, 5 state championships in a row, that maybe this is an opportunity for Coach Steve Jones to return home and to coach his alma mater, Brett. Is that almost too perfect of a situation, my friend?
I think it's something we've thought about actually for a little while now. This isn't just new, that we've talked about it amongst ourselves. He's a Stevens Point guy, a SPASH grad, played football at UW Stevens Point. The question is, does he want to move up to the collegiate level? We saw it with Scott Anderson, remember, years ago. He was the Neenah boys basketball coach, then took an assistant job with was it with Jack Bennett back then at UW Stevens Point to become an assistant men's basketball coach, and then shifted back to become the SPASH boys basketball coach. Of course, Scott Anderson now resigning just very recently, I think last week. But that's the million-dollar question: is does Steve want to take that next step? It seems like it would be a perfect fit to get even more collegiate experience. He was a grad assistant with the Pointers back when he played there, went to school there, and was finishing up. So he does have a little collegiate experience. And it comes to another question too: is what more does he have to prove at the high school level? He's won 5 straight state titles, 1 in D2, the last 4 in D1, 70 straight victories, a state record in the nation's longest winning streak. There's nothing more that he wants to do or needs to do or has to prove, unless he just flat out loves the high school level and wants to keep coaching. And I know he's thought very highly as a leadership teacher at Kimberly High School. I know he spoke yesterday at the United Way breakfast right here in Appleton, and gave a fantastic speech. Apparently,
phenomenal from what my lovely wife said, and at points there were, I guess, a lot of people that were getting choked up, quivery lip. Ready to cry. He gave a phenomenal speech. A lot of stuff you didn't know about Coach Jones, actually, that he kind of talked about in his early life.
Yeah, Jen Zettel, our colleague, wrote a nice story about it, and about some of the things he talked about at the speech. One of them was about when he first told his players that he loved them.
Good story.
And implementing love. You don't see that in high school football too much, a coach talking about love, but it's a very important thing. It's very important for young males to hear that message from a
and
male,
that it's okay
to
outwardly show that kind of emotion.
It's an emotion that all of us as human beings have. So
good
so
stuff.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I guess again, it would seem to be a natural fit, and boy, he would have a strong pipeline into the Fox Valley in terms of recruiting some of that D3 talent if he took that job or if he wanted that job.
I think this is an opportunity for him that seems almost too perfect, and so I don't know how he wouldn't be at least interested in the job if they did, kind of show interest back, which I'm assuming that they will do. Now he does have a great thing going at Kimberly.
Yes,
he is ensconced there. I mean, he has his program. The team is in his mold, his character, and quite frankly, they're a team that with him at the helm is going to be competitive year in and year out because he's, him along with the help of his assistant coaches, and before obviously the previous regime was doing well as well. They have the youth system set up, so they're always going to have success. But yeah, Brett, it gets down to the point: how far can you take it in high school? Biggest, largest division in high school. You've shown yourself to be the platinum program in Division I, smallest team in Division I. What can you do at the collegiate level and transfer those principles to the collegiate game? So maybe that's a challenge that will kind of catch his eye, and maybe that's something he wants to do. I would think this is a perfect opportunity to do it, in my opinion.
Again, what is his career path? Does he want to get into the college level, maybe one day work his way up to a Division I? Who knows? Selfishly, I have mixed emotions because I love having him here. I think he's great to deal with, top notch, first class. He runs a first class program. Kids are always respectful. Everybody's respectful when it comes to Kimberly football and Kimberly High School as a whole. But I'm also a UW Stevens Point grad.
I know you are.
And the football program has been sort of let's just say, over the years. So I think I would love to see some infusion of energy, excitement, and I think he could probably build that into what would be a fun battle between maybe eventually Oshkosh, Whitewater, and Stevens Point. Could be pretty good recruiting battles between those three schools, like we see in football quite a bit.
Oshkosh
or basketball,
with Pat, is it Cerrone? Cerrone, the San Francisco Treat. Doing a great job, taking them there to the state or to the national championship game.
Yeah, he's built a powerhouse.
Boy, that would be fun. I agree with you. That would be very cool for the WIAC to be able to have those three teams be in contention, because that's exciting for the state to have that happen at the Division III level. We call it Division III, but it really is much better than Division.
It's very competitive.
It's very competitive. They're always in contention for the national title, but that's something that's going to develop, Brett. Right? So we'll see over the next couple of weeks.
And it could be it's pure spespeculation. It might not even be a factor.
Yeah, exactly. And if it does happen, again, speculating. Let's hope it doesn't happen next week where we don't have a show. Hope it happens the following week. But, Brett, I'm going to wrap up real quick. Appleton North softball players, Marissa Mullen, Sarah Allison, Hannah Hilton, and Hiltonen will be Hannah Cam. But the girls are coming in, the softball players, later tonight, 7 o'clock. So please check that out on Facebook.com/Bulls Crescent. Appleton North actually took a tough loss. They played Oshkosh North yesterday.
That 3-zip loss,
Suplay, their outstanding pitcher, kind of shut them out there. But still, they're going to be one of the teams there at the end, a team vying for a conference championship and maybe even more in the postseason. So please check that out. Appleton North softball again on the big show tonight, 7 o'clock on Facebook.com/Bulls Crescent and PulseCrescent.com.
Got a reader comment on Facebook real quick. He wants a recap of FVA basketball. Peter.
Okay. Well,
Pete,
the game. Now the boys' game is Sunday at 9 o'clock. Sunday at 6 o'clock. It's at Kaukauna High School. Okay. So that's the boys' game. We still don't know about the girls' game, if there is even going to be a girls' game. But we're getting things in motion here. Not so much me. I'm just picking the team. But like other folks are kind of getting the logistics part of it done. We'll see if it happens. But the Pulse Crescent will let everyone know if and when that does get finalized.
Yeah, so there you go, Peter.
All right,
thanks
good
for
stuff.
Watching. And by the way, nothing next week.
Nothing next week. I'll be in Florida, in Tampa, at Innisbrook Golf Resort, a world-renowned golf course, and I won't be golfing.
You'll be flying next week at this time.
I'll be flying on Allegiant Air. Please send a prayer to me.
You'll
for
be
me.
fine.
Okay. Here you
wanna
go,
throw
Brett. You know
one?
what to
You
do?
wanna throw
No,
one?
that's all you.
All right, this is for our Sports Awards show, right here. This is Aaron Rodgers, right here, Rosie. That's right down the middle.
Yeah, look good.
Out
Look
for
good.
the season.
This is for the Red Hot Brewers right here. No, we'll go Giannis right here.
Giannis.
Bucks and
they're
7.
gonna win. Yeah, no,
Bucks and
Bucks
7.
Bucks ain't winning in 7.
See you next week.